Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US Indices Report, but today we're going to start with a stock, and this stock is Dow Chemicals, and it started its primary wave 4 trend here in 2016 in January. Now, there's many other stocks that have done the same thing as well, and indices as well. So US banks have started at this stage here. The DAX has started its run in 2016 as well, but the European banks are in a different. They started much later in the year, and the Australian banks started much later in the year. So different stocks are doing different things, and I think it's interesting to sort of point out that economists will say that if oil stocks are going up, well then the economy is good, or the oil stocks will run with the indices and so on. All these sort of cliches which are right for quite a few years, and then they're not right. So I think it's really important not to get caught up in that, but you basically need to prove things to yourself that can be useful to you at the time, because we just, it's the same with the interest rates and so on and so on. The economists, they just use it, and then when it doesn't work, they come up with another story. But from my perspective, from my small, humble perspective, is that I think it's really important to find out what stocks are moving with the indices at the time, because then they can be very helpful, because sometimes the indices don't have very clear wave counts, and it's not that the stocks need to travel exactly the same as them, but this is really quite similar to what the Dow's doing and what the S&P's doing, and so on and so on. So it's a very clear wave 1 and 2 here of intermediate degree, and this is the same with the banks as well, and so most of the banks, and then 1 and 2 here, and then we can see we've got a clear 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, and then we've got all of wave 3 with 5 waves in it all the way up here, then a nice ABC here, much the same as the banks as such. And this one here is leading up here, so we're looking for 5 waves to move up here, then it will have its wave 4. So it's kind of interesting, because when you start sort of grouping all the stocks that are moving together, and this is a chemical company, and we know the banks are doing much the same, and so on. There's other markets that are sort of with this count, maybe slightly different, maybe more advanced, maybe behind. And once you group them all together, you can get really quite a nice idea of what's sort of happening with this particular structure, and it becomes very helpful in that regard. And like I said, on an intraday basis, they might move together. On a minor degree basis, they might, or minute degree basis, they might be doing something else. One may be leading and one may be following, and so on and so on. But I do think it's very helpful to pin all these together. And to me, it doesn't really matter what market it is. If it started on this trend here, then it's going to be part of that group. And I just find that really helpful. So with this market here, the Dow Chemical one here, it's if I can just sort of get it into perspective here a little bit. I'd need to get onto the intraday chart here, but basically I can see from wave 4 here that it's got wave 1 and 2 here, and then I can see it's 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4, so then it's in its last fifth. So this is the top of a third wave here. There'll be the 4th wave here, which may be doing that now, and then the 5th wave up here. So that means that it's still going to have a correction here for wave 4, which is going to take a while, and then it's got another 5 days to push up. So it could have 5 days here and another 8 days to the upside, or 5 days to the upside, and then it has its correction here as a wave 4 here, and pulling back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, so to speak, and then it's got to push up here again as well. So realistically, this market has still got it's still got all of this here, which will take us into the 2018 mark here, and this wave 5 here should be roughly the same size and time as wave 1 here. So it can give you a good idea of when this market's going to kind of finish. The Dow Jones is basically the same as well. We haven't looked at the Dow for a while. So this primary wave 4 here, which should be in a circle like that here, I just use it over here as I put half a circle means that it's a full circle. The same with these ones here of minute degrees, so they need to be full circles, but I don't have that on this charting program, so that's okay. But the same thing here as well. So we've got wave 1 and 2 here, and we've got 1 and 2 here, same as the Dow Chemical, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the third wave here, the fourth wave here, and then we've been working out. So in fact, the Dow Jones is actually leading the S&P higher here, and I see that it's still got more to go here. Yes, I could make a mistake here. I could really have wave 4 here and then look at all this as wave 5 coming up to here and bring this in over here when I've got a little 5 in here. I'm aware of that too, but as it stands at the moment, this is quite a nice fit here. And we're still, in this case here, we've still got wave 1 here, wave 2 here, and then we're in wave 3 here. And in wave 3 here, we've got wave 1 done, wave 2 done, and we're in wave 3 here. So wave 3 is not finished, wave 4 is not finished, wave 5 is not finished, and that only gets us to this point, let alone this point. So the Dow Chemicals are basically in this leg up here. So the stock is leading, and the Dow is way behind here, Dow Jones, and the S&P is even further behind. So it's kind of interesting in that sort of regard here. If I put this on 4-hour chart, we can pick that up from wave 4 here. And we've got wave 1 and 2, and then this wave 3 here is not finished. We're looking for wave 1 and 2 here, then 1 and 2. We might need to go to the hourly here. Maybe I've done the hourly, maybe I haven't. We'll just check. Oh, yeah, I have. So from this wave 4 here, we've got wave 1 and 2 here, and then 5 waves up here for wave 1, back for wave 2. So we're into wave 3 at the moment, this wave 3 here, and of course the blue wave 3 as well. So wave 3 here is going to be longer than wave 1 here. So we've still got further to go. I see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, back for 1 for 2, and then probably 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then 5 here for the third, the fourth here, and the fifth up to here for this third, then the fourth here, then the fifth here. So there's still further to go here in this case. So when we look at the S&P 500 and so on, and other markets, we still know that this trend hasn't finished to the upside. So we're not at a top yet. That's for sure. The S&P 500. Well, let's just have a look at Google, because we've been using Google as a bit of a thing, haven't we? A little bit. So I know there's different Google shares, and so on, and some of them haven't reached the 1,000 yet. Though they corrected it at the 8 here at 980, wherever that is in here somewhere. You'll see that on other stocks, other quality shares. But here, this trend here too that we've been looking at is just not finished here. And in this case here, I could have this counted a little bit differently in here, but generally speaking, this count is correct here. I can see we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for wave 1, 2. Oh no, I've done it right. Yeah, sorry, I was looking at. Got my eyes cross-eyed. But yes, we've got this wave 4 happening here, as I mentioned, and we had that straight line down here before, and I thought, well, obviously that's probably just the first leg, so we're looking for another leg, and it looks like we've sort of got that now here. It could get a little bit ugly. I haven't pulled it apart on the thing here, but we should be expecting a move up from this shortly here. So that's where the NASDAQ stocks are, the DJ is, and the S&P 500 here. We've been looking at this with a little bit of a change here in fact, this is where I originally had it, right at the gecko, and then I've changed it a couple of times, but I suppose it still could be counted as 1 here and 2 here and 3 here and 4 here and 5 here, and we've got a top here, but we'd still need to see a move down. We don't have that so far, and we know that generally the trends for the stocks are still to the upside, so we've still got to go with that to the upside. So, and also too, as I mentioned before, is having the 2500 here, medium level. I don't see markets failing at this number here at 24. If they're going to fail, they're going to have some sort of thing here and be rejected here. But yeah, I don't see them failing at this particular point here. The other thing here is we've been looking at is this market's been correcting across the 2430. The 30 is important. 10, 20, and 30 is the top of group one. So we still have support here. It hasn't been rejected. But I want to be open-minded here. This counts quite nicely as a triangle pattern now. This could also go into this space here. Now, this situation here, this little move up through here, we'll look at this on a tick chart in a moment, but at the moment it just counts up as an A and a B and a C wave here. So we need to be flexible and open. So if this low is taken out here, then we need to be on the short side, okay? If this level here, which is over to the right there, the 2435, if the 2435 becomes the tested support, then you can go long from that point. Okay, that's the best way to handle this. So if we go to the tick chart now and just sort of drill in on that a little bit. So a fair bit of work has been done through all of this here to get this into play here, and we're reasonably sort of happy with that. We see this move down here as being corrective, but at the same time, as I just mentioned, from this low, which is probably depending here, it just fits better as a corrective wave up here as an A and a B and a C for wave 4 and down for wave 5 here. But this here counts 5 waves up here, right? And then back here, then we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. Now, I've counted it as an A and a B and a C wave here, but obviously that's where it is right now, and it may not be finished. So it could, develop further and move up and so on. But as it stands right at the moment, that 2435 here, so any more movement up there would basically breach that ABC and turn it into an impulsive wave at that stage. So then we could look at this being wave 1 here and wave 2 here as such, and start building to the upside. So what I'm saying is that the 2435 is a nice tested support, then that's your ticket to the upside. And also if I'm wrong, then we need to be short under this level here. You would be able to get a better crack at that. So if this moved down through here and the 2430 became the retested resistance here, then what you could do is grab that there and put that there, or whatever high it is there, and then find your 61.8%, and then you can use that. So it's 50, 60. So we know that this is really, at this stage, you might need to change this. It's quite critical. So instead of going short here, if the 2425 becomes the retested resistance, don't sell it when it just gets there. Just be patient. You need to spend time with the price. It needs to work around it, and it's a skill and an art. But if you're patient, you can get it right. If you trade too much, then you worry about the money, and if you're worried and scared, the market will take your money off you. So you need to be really chilled about it, and observe, and move with the evidence. But that 2425 as a tested resistance would allow you to get a little position in here and then build it under the 20 as it moves from that point. Same for the upside. All right, I'm just going to leave it at that there, so that gives us a bit of a strategy to work with. All righty, cheers.